Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Let's start with the reading of the 7 realities. नमिता जी आपको पढ़ना है? आप पढ़ सकते हैं या अशोक जी?
I will read. Okay.
I'll read.
Yeah, please, Mama ji.
Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. The 7 realities: existence, love, sacrifice, renunciation, knowledge, control, and surrender. I give no importance to creed, dogma, caste, or the performance of religious ceremonies and rites, but to the understanding of the following. 1. The only real existence is that of the one and only God, who is the self in every finite self. Number 2, the only real love is the love for this infinity God, which arouses an intense longing to see, know, and become one with its truth, God. Number 3, the only real sacrifice is that in which, in pursuance of this love, all things, body, mind, position, welfare, and even life itself are sacrificed. 4. The only real renunciation is that which abandons, in the midst of worldly duties, all selfish thoughts and desires. 5. The only real knowledge is the knowledge that God is the inner dweller in good people and in so-called bad, in saint and in so-called sinner. This knowledge requires you to help all equally as circumstances demand, without expectation of reward. When compelled to take part in a dispute, to act without the slightest trace of enmity or hatred, to try to make others happy with brotherly or sisterly feeling for each one, and to harm no one in thought, word, or deed, not even those who harm you. 6. The only real control is the discipline of the senses to abstain from indulgence in low desires, which alone ensures absolute purity of character. 7. The only real surrender is that in which poise is undisturbed by any adverse circumstance, and the individual, amidst every kind of hardship, is resigned with perfect calm to the will of God. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.
Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Today is the 11th of May, and we join with the Dhars in celebrating their son's birthday. May Baba bless him, and may he have a Baba-full day and year ahead. Happy birthday, Arjun.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Arjun.
Happy birthday.
Arjun,
Happy birthday.
Arjun
Happy
should
birthday.
still be sleeping, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? He's in UK.
Yeah.
And he should still be sleeping right now. But our best wishes go out to him, and may Baba continue to have his nazar, which is so firmly on him, as we can see and as we pray and hope for.
Jai Baba. Thank you for your blessings and love.
Jai Baba, Jai Baba.
May Baba, have his nazar and give him a good future life. Jai Baba.
Thank you, Ashok ji.
Jai Baba,
Jai Baba. Jai Baba. Happy birthday, Jai Baba.
So, where are we? We are in the 7th chapter. We are reading the sevenfold veil. We are in the second page of that chapter. We started on 27th of April. We did 2 supplements, 11 and 12, and then last time we again went to the supplement last Sunday, and we read 13. We have to read 14 now. So let's go and see what those 13 and 14 are. So 13 was meditation. And here I think Baba has written more elaborately about meditation in discourses, obviously. But here there is a talk of meditation with the focus on the divine theme. So he introduces the topic in the first supplement, and then the second supplement, supplement number 14, is the divine theme, right? So here, last Sunday, we read about the whole divine theme, but for the charts. So it explains. So divine theme is I think I would say, God speaks in a few pages. So it basically is a succinct, in brief version of God speaks. So we finished that, and now we go to the explanation of two charts. We already referred those charts last time. It's basically 9 and 10. Let me bring those up and keep them ready. Yeah, this is 9. We were referring this already in the last session. And then we will also do 10. So let's start with that part of the reading. Sorry, this one. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Explanation of charts 9 and 10. Chart 9. The big semicircle in chart 9 represents the oversoul, which contains everything in the universe. Now that is the big semicircle. That's the oversoul. And that's written in bold text here as well. So is what's represented, let's say, above is more references. So the universe itself is contained in this, and these are just what should I say? Not references, legends. Legends and explanations are only outside here, right? Gross world, subtle world, mental world, they are all contained in this. So, but for what should I say? Diagrammatic reasons or presentation reasons, those are outside. Is that the way to understand it?
Jay Baba,
Yeah.
Karthik, there's one more to look at it is that the world of duality and the world of reality. Can you
See,
say that?
it, okay, go on.
Because see, when you're in the world of duality, you are having the various, the humans are in various stages of they get caught up in the world of duality, but then you have to come out of that to reach the oversoul. Actually, there are
So,
what
so
I'm
in
trying
the
to say is,
diagram, are you saying duality is below and non-duality is above?
that's what I get the impression. Maybe
No, I don't think so. So everything is between these 2 points, with the arc of the semicircle. Everything is in here. Uh, these lines and these worlds are just representations to show us clearly. Otherwise, how now? Imagine if you have to show gross world uh, without this circle.
okay.
So
So
you'll have to use either colors or see. You have to also understand the limitation of representation in non-digital days, right? So this is just a diagram which was done on paper on a large piece of paper, on a large chart, literally, and converted. So I think that that's more the thing, because otherwise all this could come inside itself, and then even the descent and ascent, that is from the God, the descent from God and back to God is also happening within the oversoul. Everything
Yes.
happens here. I think that's the way to see it.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll read further and we'll come back and see if that hypothesis is correct. So anyway, the first line was the big semicircle in chart 9 represents the oversoul, which contains everything in the universe. The life of a single individual soul is depicted in the three main stages of evolution, reincarnation, and the process of realization. So evolution, reincarnation, these vertical lines, and then realization, right? S stands for the individual soul. Before attaining the human form, it goes through 7 stages of each of the following kinds of existence, namely stone, vegetable, worm, fish, bird, and animal. So let's go see that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and stone, metal, vegetable, worm, fish, bird, animal. Okay. And the same S is there everywhere. So it's basically the individual soul, right? There's a lot of detail in this chart. That's why I'm taking it slowly and explaining it. At the 7th stage, that is just before entering a new kind of existence, you will note a pictorial representation of a twist or a knot, which stands for a consolidation of previously acquired sanskaras. The outer red circle, let's see that 7th knot. The 7th knot goes this way. So first knot, second knot, third knot, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then there is just it goes outward like that. So let's read that line again. At the 7th stage, just before entering a new kind of existence, you will note a pictorial representation of a twist, which stands for a consolidation of previously acquired sanskaras. So here, this difference is, so these are not knots, these are just loops or whatever, or circles. And here there is a knot. The knot is the consolidation. The outer red circle round the individual soul S represents the sanskaras accumulated during the process of evolution, and the blue appendage to S represents the consciousness which comes to be developed simultaneously. So let's see S and P. So S is the sanskaras, the pink circle, and the blue is the the consciousness, and gradually increasing through the 7 kingdoms and reaching max in the human. So from here, there's no change, right?
Jai Baba,
A,
Karthik, if I
yeah,
may add, in the last, they said when you reach the God state, sanskaras become zero.
yes,
There's no red circle in the
yeah,
diagram.
yeah, yes, right here.
Yeah.
But you're jumping ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Let's go step by step. Yeah. So A soul becomes Z soul after going through evolution, reincarnation, and the process of realization. It is only in the God state that consciousness is free from sanskaras. Perfect. So once you see that here, no pink in the last stage. You go from A, which is at the bottom, and Z here, and in Z there is no pink, no sanskara. Okay. The
Although
gross,
Baba, although it's
yeah,
very specific, but they've shown the evolution from stone, metal, vegetable, worms, fish, bird, animal to human. So they've really shown it very well. The
Yeah,
evolution.
yeah. Yes. So there's one more chart on evolution, right? So, but this is the one that's the divine theme chart. I mean, actually, that's the one that's the original divine theme chart. This one, right? This also has
Yeah, yeah,
the explanation. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, let's not confuse ourselves. Let's first understand this. The gross, subtle, and mental worlds, that is Annabhumi, Pranabhumi, and Manobhumi, are each represented by a big circle on the right hand side. So they are each represented by a circle on the right hand side. Since consciousness of the gross world is not fully developed in the pre-human stages of evolution, the lines which connect the stone, metal, vegetable, worm, fish, bird, and animal souls through their respective stone, metal, vegetable, worm, fish, bird, and animal forms touching the gross world only partially. So, okay, they are only touching partially. Okay. And then the human form goes in completely. While since consciousness is fully developed in the human form, it is shown through corresponding lines as being capable of understanding the entire gross world in all its different aspects. So the difference in these 7 lines is that they come from the human form and they understand the gross world completely. Right? So that's the distinction. In the process of reincarnations, the soul may take a male or a female form, and it may belong to any nationality, creed, or religion. From the point of view of self-knowledge, the process up to the attainment of the human forms represent an actual descent, though it looks like an ascent, and the process of realization represents an actual ascent, though it looks like a descent. And these two processes are respectively represented by a line representing descent of winding knots of sanskaras, which goes up from the stone stage to the gross world, and by a line of unwinding knots of sanskaras, which comes down from the gross world to the God state. So these are the two lines being talked about, right? So from the gross world to A, and the ascent is from the God state to the gross world. Rather,
Jeva,
from here to the God state. Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but
Mm.
there is a small semicircle which they have shown in the gross world, which links the human form. So there is a special, I mean, the
No, it's not a
conscious,
semicircle. It's another circle,
not
right?
another circle. Sorry, what I meant was
It's not concentric, but yes, there is another circle in the circle. The Yeah, that's what is explained in this line, right? So
can we read again?
presence, yeah. Cross process of ordinary from, yeah, in the process. Yeah. While since consciousness is fully developed in the human form, it is shown through corresponding lines capable of understanding the entire gross world in all its different aspects. So that's why these lines. So it may be a little confusing, but basically the distinction is these lines don't go to the full gross world, whereas the human form is experiencing the full gross world. That's what has to be understood, though the circles may denote that that's a part of the gross world. Please
Yeah,
note.
but it's an important thing that the human form can uh, is fully developed
Experience.
and understand the and capable of understanding the entire gross world in all its
Correct.
different. So that's a I felt it's although it's a repetition, but I felt it's an important distinction between the other forms.
Yes.
Jai Baba.
Okay. Yeah. Baba. So yeah. And these two, okay, which comes down from the gross world to the God state. The process of ordinary incarnations begins after the winding is complete and it continues till the unwinding has begun. So process of reincarnation starts, yeah, process of reincarnation starts from here. No, let's read that line again. I'm sorry. Which goes up from the stone stage to the gross world and by a line representing ascent of unwinding knots of sanskaras, which comes down from the gross world to the God state. The process of ordinary reincarnations begins after the winding is complete and it continues until the unwinding has begun. So it's the type of knot that is described here, right? So it goes in the descent is winding and the ascent is unwinding. And the same is represented here also. The
No,
knot,
I
the
think
loops are like this. Yeah.
no, I think what sentence you read represents this multiple circles in between the two knots, between human and then uh, unwinding process, sanskara decreasing, consciousness remains the same. So this legend, between that we have the reincarnation. So actually
Reincarnation
unwinding
is from
starts
here to here. It's only from here to here. So if you
only
see,
from
reincarnation is only from
this
here to
whole
here.
uh,
And this is what is described here, where you are born as men and women, then you were born as all the different religions.
yes.
Let's read it again. Let's read it again.
Yes.
Let's clarify, right? So, in the process of reincarnations, the soul may take a male or a female form, and it may belong to any nationality, creed, or religion. From the point of view of self-knowledge, the process up to the attainment of human forms represents an actual descent, though it looks like an ascent, and the process of realization represents an actual ascent, though it looks like a descent. And these two processes are respectively represented by a line representing descent of winding knots of sanskaras, which goes up from the stone stage to the gross world, and by a line representing ascent of unwinding knots of sanskaras, which come down from the gross world to the God state. The process of ordinary reincarnations begins after the winding is complete and it continues till the unwinding has begun. So it's between these two things. This is
Yes.
important. The process of ordinary reincarnations begins after the winding is complete and it continues till the unwinding has begun. So let's confirm that diagrammatically. So up to here, the winding is going on. And then
Yes.
after this, the unwinding starts. So you experience all the pieces of sanskaras, maximum experiences here. And then you go to the unwinding process. This is after. So unwinding process starts, sanskaras are decreasing, consciousness remains the same. So anyway, let's read the next paragraph. I hope it's clear now.
Yes.
In the process of
And
realization,
one
yeah,
point, if you go back to the chart, one point
yeah,
which come to my mind, which is not explained as such. Can you go back to the chart?
yeah.
So here we have the so many lines in between the two, bird soul, animal soul. There are a lot of lines. So each of these lines may show the different species.
Yes, correct.
In the
That's not
same
explained, but
genera.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So we
Within the
jump
kingdom,
different
yeah,
species.
within the kingdom, you
Yes,
have
yes.
many, many births because you are experiencing the sanskaras of multiple types of souls within the
Yes.
multiple types of species, like you said,
Ah,
within that kingdom.
yes.
So all the different types of metals, all the different types of vegetables, all the different types of worms, different types of fish, flipping to bird, and then all the animals as well.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
But
Thanks for pointing that out.
after human, it is not species. It is basically your gender or locality or
Yes, yes. So
religion.
you are,
That's why it's vertically described. That's a good
Yeah.
distinction. It's
it's all
vertically
only in the
described as
human species.
what is that? Yeah, the vertical distinction and a grid-like representation of the S is there only in the human, because
Yes.
also it's reincarnation. You do it over and over and over again, and the distinction now is not in form, but in men and women and east and west and all the different societal constructs and all the different aspects of humanity that we experience over and over. So that distinction also is brought out where, so here you just go through from one form to another, form being different species within a kingdom. Here, you're going through different experiences in different births. So that distinction is clearly brought out. Thanks for pointing that out, Sanjay ji. Okay.
Okay.
In the process of realization, advanced souls from the first through the third planes are conscious only of the subtle world through their subtle bodies. So that's described by. So now we are in this part of the arc. The unwinding has started, and the subtle world is what is connected from here. So if you see, the subtle world is what is connected to the subtle stages. I mean the subtle sphere. And let's go back. They are aware of ordinary souls who are gross conscious and can act upon them in the subtle world. But all this is done by them through the subtle body and in the subtle world. So they can interact with the gross world and gross body souls, but they are operating from the subtle world. And they have no connection with the gross world through the gross body. And that's also evident from the diagram. The diagram only connects you when you are in the subtle world to, I mean, when you're in the after reincarnation stage, you are connected only to the subtle world and not to the gross world.
Karthik, there is also a correlation of uh, the sanskaras decreasing with the colored circle, that is the
Yes, yes,
master
yes,
circle.
yes. This pink sanskaras are decreasing. If you see that, that's already happening,
No,
and that's progressive.
correct. I meant also this correlation with the colorful circle with blue, light blue, green. If you come down a little bit in this chart, you just come down the master soul.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
there's also
master soul is not explained. So wait, don't jump ahead.
okay.
Yeah. So right now, let's just go by. We'll correlate exactly the reading. So right
Okay.
now we have understood the subtle first through the third planes, and there we understand that you're operating at the subtle world. You have no, but you have interact. You're capable of interacting with souls in the gross world and can operate through them. But your sphere of operation is through the subtle world, and then
What
from there you go to the fourth plane. Yeah, Ashok.
agreed. We'll follow the reading, but I'm saying that there are these 7 planes also shown in that uh, colorful diagram. So the first 3 are subtle, 1, 2, and 3. then 4 and 5 are mental, like that. If am I correct?
Okay.
Because there's 7 planes shown where 7 is the
Hold your horses, hold your horses, hold your horses.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, they are aware of where did we stop? They are aware of ordinary souls who are gross conscious. Yeah, but all this is done through them in the subtle world. Okay, this is where I stopped. In the same way, advanced souls from the fourth through the sixth planes are aware of gross conscious as well as subtle conscious souls, but they act upon them in the mental world through the mental body. And they have no connection with the gross world through the gross body, nor with the subtle world through the subtle body. Therefore, the lines in the chart connect the subtle conscious soul only with the subtle world, and the corresponding lines connect the mental conscious soul only with the mental world. So that also is described here. They are only connected here, only connected here. There is still sanskaras, but they are much lesser than what it is in the subtle world. Arrow from the stage of the human remains the same size, right? Remains the same size because you've reached max capacity. Now, in the God state, which is now this part of the diagram, okay? In the God state, in which all the sanskaras are unwound, consciousness is turned only to God. This is the state of Majzoobs a Kamil, who have no connection with the gross, nor the subtle, nor the mental. So, here you are. You are in the God state, sanskaras are gone, and you have no connection with any, even the mental world. Majzoob a Kamil. Majzoob a Kamil, who have no connection with the gross, nor the subtle, nor the mental world. But a few who enjoy the God state also come down and regain the consciousness of the entire creation. These are the souls of the masters. The soul of the master is represented by 7 concentric colored rings. So that is here. Okay. Before that, there's an asterisk. Okay, for their significance, see chart 10. So you have to hold your horses for a long time, Ashokji. Okay, so we'll explain a little bit, but for the 7 concentric circles, you have to wait some time.
Yeah, that's okay. It's just the color got my fancy.
Yes, sure. The following points, which have been brought out by connecting lines, should be carefully noted. The master's soul is connected with God beyond, which is the Vigyan or the resting place of the masters. Let's see that. Is connected to the God beyond. The master's soul has direct access and is connected to the God beyond. God beyond is beyond God. 2, it is connected with the God state, that is here, right? So in the previous paragraph, it was described clearly that some souls, these souls in the God state are Majzoob a Kamil. Now, some souls have a role and they go back to operate and help humanity, not humanity, creation. So that that's why this line here, right? This line. And then you come to the master soul, which at that time is connected to beyond God. And we will see that it's also connected to mental, subtle, and gross, but we'll read about it. Third point, it is not only connected with all the 3 worlds, but all the souls, whether they are mental conscious, subtle conscious, or reincarnating human beings who are gross conscious, or souls who are in the pre-human evolutionary stage. And that is shown by the lines that are here, 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 and here. So
Yes.
after Madzube Kamal, you can become a perfect master. When you become a perfect master, you restore your connection with all the different souls in creation across. And you also have permanent connection with beyond state of God.
Uh,
I think it's
Karthik,
not beyond state of God. It's God state. Yeah.
God state. Why
Yeah.
there are 4 lines in the God state? And there is no explanation for that.
For the God beyond here,
Yes,
these 4
God
lines.
beyond. God beyond is
Yeah, I don't know.
represented by
Nice.
4 lines. So what is the
Yeah,
significance
I
or
don't know.
meaning for that? I don't know. And the other thing is one more point which we can need to ascertain from here is in the say subtle world, mental world, what is shown in the 2 circles here. Can you just go slightly higher up in the diagram?
Okay.
Say through and through till reincarnation, these human forms are linked with the gross world, which inside has a small circle. Probably that represents the subtle world or mental world together with the gross world.
No.
So whereas later on, even though they have a form, gross form, their awareness or the soul awakening is only in the subtle world or later in the mental world. And
If I can
beyond
stop you
that,
there,
even
if
though
I
they
can
are
stop you
having
there,
the form, they will be in the God state.
if I can stop you there, if your question is regarding this, which is this secondary circle here, right?
Yes.
And why these lines from reincarnating humans go to that, the explanation is here. Let's read it again. Okay. And these two are respectively represented by a line, which comes the process of the process is all the process. Okay. Yeah, here it is. So while, and I read again, while since consciousness is fully developed in the human form, it is shown through corresponding lines as being capable of understanding the entire gross world in all its different aspects. Okay, actually, let's read one a little before that also. I'll read this whole paragraph. Okay, this one. The gross, subtle, and mental worlds, Annabhumi, Pranabhumi, and Manobhumi, are each represented by a big circle on the right hand side. Big circle on the right hand side. 1, 2, 3. Since consciousness of the gross world is not fully developed in the pre-human stages of evolution, the lines which connect the stone, metal, vegetable, worm, fish, bird, and animal souls through their respective stone, metal, vegetable, worm, fish, bird, and animal forms are shown merely as touching the gross world only partially. So this is what is to indicate that it is partial touching.
Yes.
The outer ones. Okay.
So what I interpret with this is that in these forms, non-human, before human forms,
pre-human,
they are not pre-human forms. They are not aware of the subtle or mental sphere or the world. They have awareness of only the gross world.
Okay.
Whereas in the human form, they are aware to an extent. We are all aware to an extent of the subtle and also mental world, but we are not actually totally conscious of that. But we can access those worlds once in a while. if I am correct, this comes in the literature.
No, the text does not seem to suggest that. And if I finish
No,
the
that
rest of the
may be the
paragraph, you will
reason why there is a smaller
two
circle inside
circles.
the gross world,
Yeah.
and in the human form, it goes through that, through the gross world into the interior.
Mamaji, Jay Baba, if I may just add, is basically in the human form, the the evolution of consciousness is full or complete. So I
Yes.
think it is representing that the consciousness in the human form is complete, and that is why this human forms is linked to the small circle.
Maybe
So I'll just
this
read
is
out the
not
second part of
explained
the
in the text
paragraph.
as such.
It is. So I'll finish it.
Yes, yes.
So here he says, are shown merely as touching the gross world only partially. Okay.
Yes.
And then he
Yes.
goes on, while since consciousness is fully developed in the human form, which means now we are talking only about these lines, these inner circle wala lines,
Yes.
which
Yes.
is only the human form. While since consciousness is fully developed in the human form, it is shown through corresponding lines as being capable of understanding the entire gross world in all its different aspects. So don't get confused by the mathematical representation that this is a subset. So that's what got Ashokji also confused the first time, correct? So
Yes.
though it looks like this is a subset, this is the full exploration of the gross world, which is not done by the rest of the six kingdoms. The rest
Yes.
of the six kingdoms merely touch, right? Whereas this goes fully and explores the full gross world. That's the indication with the extra, I mean, the penetrating lines. So in that sense,
But
I
why
think if
that
the
smaller circle?
penetrating lines had gone into subtle world and mental world also, then it would have been easier.
Can I come in? I think the
Yeah, please. Of course.
gross world is something very big, and the inner circle is only human. So that is why the human lines are connected to only humans. But the gross world has everything else also. Na?
Everything else
It has
also.
animals, it has fish, it has everything is gross, right? So human is only
Mm.
a part of it, and that is what is connected to the this thing, human consciousness, as we say, from human to the first it is shown, right?
Mm. Mm.
Yes, that is a
So that is
plausible
why there are two
explanation.
circles. So the human consciousness only carries the impressions forward as the cycle of reincarnation starts. But the gross world in itself is very big. And in the outer circle, you see all other forms connected, which is
Okay, that's a
animal, birds,
plausible
and fish and
explanation.
form. Everything else is connected to the outer circle. And within the overall gross world, there is a human part which is connected to the, like that which I explained earlier. That's my reading.
Yes, that can be a plausible explanation.
Yeah. So as I do agree that there are glimpses that one gets in the gross, I mean, in the human form of the subtle and the mental worlds, that's not suggested by the text. That's all I'd say,
Yes.
right? To Mamaji's point.
Yeah.
Yes.
When we are in gross
Yeah,
world, we are in gross world. Actually, we are controlled by the
correct,
gross world. So that is what
correct,
it is. I mean,
correct,
in that way, you'll have to show some gross world even in the subtle thing. You are controlled
correct.
by the subtle, but there is also gross actions which are happening.
Hmm.
So it is just like that. They're slightly overlapping, as Baba had explained. But to make it simple, it is shown like this.
Yeah, yeah, cool. So let's go to 10, where we will understand the only part we have not understood in detail is the 7 concentric circles and the perfect master, which the text says wait for 10. So let's go to 10, right? So back to this. Chart 10. Chart 10 brings out the details pertaining to the process of evolution up to the human form and the process of realization up to the state of a God realized being. The innermost small circle, which is referred to by S, represents the individual soul. Yeah, so this is the innermost soul, small circle S, everywhere, right? The soul is shown as having an increasing number of circles around itself up to the human stage, and it is shown as retaining all the circles later on. So it starts with the least circles. Consciousness is also slightest, then slight, then consciousness is more, little more, still more, partial, consciousness partial, okay, and then consciousness is full. Most, so here the pink, okay, we'll go back to the text and see how it is explaining. Okay, which goes on increasing. In evolution, vegetables acquire the most undeveloped instinct, but not the subtle body, which emerges in an undeveloped form in worms and reptiles. Now, how is that shown? So here there is the the consciousness is the inner circle, then gross body is there, and then here you have the most undeveloped instinct and the gross body. So two circles. Let's see it in bigger size. So there is slightest consciousness in the stones and metal stage. And then I don't know what is the significance of the half pink, half black, but we'll wait for the text. Then the most undeveloped instinct is in the vegetable form. And that, Baba says, is the emergence of the subtle body. I'll reread. In evolution, vegetables acquire the most undeveloped instinct, but not the subtle body. So it's not the subtle body yet, which emerges in an undeveloped form in worms and reptiles. So it emerges only in the next stage. So in the vegetable stage, there's no subtle body. Even in the next stage, the worms and reptile stage, it is undeveloped form of the subtle body. Okay. This subtle body goes on developing until it is fully developed in the human form. So we will see is this, and that's what is explained here. So there is an undeveloped subtle body in the worms and reptiles, little developed subtle body in the fish, more developed subtle body in the birds, still more developed subtle body in the animals, and subtle body desires expressed partially, and fully complete subtle body is ready, right? So now let's get back. Side by side with the development of the subtle body, there is a simultaneous development of instinct. Intellect, in its partial development, makes its first appearance at the stage of animals, but the mental body appears only at the last stage, represented by the human form. So let's go back and see instinct. Most undeveloped instinct makes its appearance in the vegetables. First appearance. Then a little developed instinct appears in the worms and reptiles. Little more developed instinct rather, in the fish. Still more developed instinct in the birds. Fully developed instinct, partially developed intellect. So both are there in the animals. And then human, mental body desires are felt and intellect is developed. Then there is the ego. Okay, we'll read about it and come back. Yeah. In the human form, the first innermost circle represents the individual soul. So this is the human form. Ordinary humans. Innermost circle represents the individual soul. The next outer circle represents full consciousness. Then the other outer circles, in the order in which they are drawn, respectively represent. Okay. So first things first. First one is consciousness, fully developed consciousness. Then we'll take one line by one line. The seat of individuality is number one. Seat of individuality. So is it explained here? Yeah, that's the seat of individuality is the ego.
Yes.
Okay. Then number two, sanskaras or unexpressed desires. Number two, sanskaras or unexpressed desires. Pink one. Sanskaras or unexpressed desires. So actually here it says it is the seat of individuality. So the first one is ego and the second one has both the expressions here. Anyway,
Yes.
we'll go by the text. Okay, we'll go by the text. So the circles are seat of individuality, sanskaras or unexpressed desires. Third is intellect. Fourth is felt desires of the mental body. Fifth is subtle body, in which there is a partial expression of desires. And sixth, the gross body, in which the desires come to be fully expressed. All the circles round the innermost circle of the soul, with the exception of the first circle of consciousness, are layers of consciousness. Of these layers, the outermost circle and the circle next to it respectively represent the gross and subtle bodies, while the other four layers around consciousness represent four functions of one mental body. Okay, so let's go back and see it. So the mental body is still here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Forget the S and the small circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Up to there is the mental body.
No. From
Of
here, from the uh, mental body, in the diagram, you
yeah,
better read from the description below. So mental body, mind, desires, felt, intellect, all together, each one points to the outer circle.
So yeah,
There is
so
a double
mind,
line, pink and black. Inside that, first line is black, second is pink, next is black, next is pink,
correct.
till we reach the interior. So those four lines is the mental body.
Yes, correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct. Up to the fourth pink line. Rather, second pink line, fourth
Yes.
line all together.
Yes. So that double line, pink and black, is the subtle body.
Yeah, subtle body is the black line, and the desires expressed partially are denoted by the pink line. I mean, it's a double line, as you said.
Yes.
And then finally, the last line is What's the last line? There's no arrow for the last line.
Is not shown as explanation.
Yeah, there's no arrow as such. Okay.
That's a container.
Container. Okay.
Overall container. Okay.
Overall.
Yeah. So I think there's quite a bit that's covered in these circles, concentric circles. But I will go ahead and read the human form again so that we better understand this and better grasp it, right? In the human form, the first innermost circle represents the individual soul. The next outer circle represents full consciousness, and then the outer circles, in the order in which they are drawn, respectively represent seat of individuality, sanskaras or unexpressed desires, intellect, number 3, number 4, felt desires of the mental body, number 5, subtle body, in which there is a partial expression of desires, and 6, the gross body. So let's at least confirm
the last line is
count.
the gross body. Okay.
Yeah, the last one is the gross body, correct.
Yes.
So let's confirm the count at least. So you have the small circle S.
Yes.
This circle is consciousness. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 is the gross body. And that's shown by, okay, there's also one arrow here. Here it is. Gross body and desires expressed fully. So that this is also explained. So the last circle is explained here. So if you see this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 arrows, and the 7th arrow is here. Gross body, desires expressed fully. So this should be the 7th arrow, this small arrow. This should actually touch the pink line. I hope you understand.
Karthik,
Yeah.
this is understood, but why is the outermost circle partially in red and in black? That is something which what is the
It's not
significance?
explained.
Okay.
Not explained.
I mean, it's not explained
there
till
is,
now, but
one more aspect
if
here.
you see here, yeah, go ahead.
There is desires felt, desires expressed partially, and desires fully expressed. These 3 terms are used here. The topmost is the desires fully expressed. So how I look at it is the sanskaras which we are expressing or experiencing in this birth, they are the fully expressed desires. But we have a baggage of sanskaras which are kept aside, which will be for the, say, life ahead, birth ahead. So can it be explained like that? Desires expressed partially, desires not expressed, unexpressed desires, and the fully expressed desires. So Sanchita, Prarabdha,
and yeah.
So that's why there is a partial line of redness in the outer black circle. So that is continued from all the circles. So all the circles that is there in all the different forms. So this
Okay.
needs to be confirmed by somebody. Yes.
Yeah. That's a good question to ask and get some clarity as well with somebody who knows. If anybody else has an opinion, please jump in. Okay, let's go back to the text. All the circles around the innermost circle of the soul, with the exception of the first circle of consciousness, are layers of consciousness. So all the circles, with the exception of the first circle of consciousness, are layers of consciousness. Of these layers, the outermost circle and the circle next to it respectively represent the gross and the subtle bodies. So the gross is the outermost and this is the subtle body, and the arrows confirm that, right? So gross is explained here and subtle is explained here. The innermost, first one outside the outer is the subtle. Of the represent, while the other four layers, okay. While the other four layers around consciousness represent four functions of one mental body. Of these four functions of the mental body, two, that is felt desires and intellect, are usually included under mind. And the other two, that is sanskaras or unexpressed desires and the seat of individuality, are included under the ego. Okay, so there is two things, mind and ego. So he says the first two, felt desires and intellect, are in the mental body, are included in the mind. And the other two, sanskaras and unexpressed desires and the seat of individuality, are included under the ego. So let's go back and see that. So that's also explained. So you heard. So desires felt and no, let's go back to the text. Desires felt and intellect are included under mind, and sanskaras and or unexpressed desires and seat of individuality is included under ego. So seat of individuality and unexpressed desires are included under ego. This one. So there is a definition of mind. So within the mental body, there is two subsections, let us say, or two subsets. One is the mind, and the other is the ego. Right?
And it is rightly shown so deep rooted that's really impossible to remove the ego part.
Ego, correct. Ego is the innermost one, inner compared to mind. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So now let's get back. Seat of included under the ego. Thus, at the human stage, the soul, with its consciousness, has three bodies but six layers, including the gross layer known as the gross body. So, the human stage, the soul with its consciousness has three bodies, gross, subtle, and mental, and but six layers, including the gross layer known as the gross body. So, let's continue. When after, yeah.
With this sanskaras express, so the outermost is the express sanskara, or the sanskaras which are we are bound with the say sanskaras which we have in this life. So we have the other part of the thing. So the final part of all our sanskaras are in the ego part of it. So gradually we keep bringing them out and then expressing them and then diluting them. That is the process. So that's why the last thing to be lost is the ego. So losing ego leads to God. So that is how I look at this diagram from top to bottom.
Very, very correct. One, it's the last thing to leave, and it is the unexpressed desires. So, and
pent up inside. So it should be brought out and then expressed.
So, and in the mental body, desires are felt. Subtle body, desires are expressed partially. Whereas in the gross body, desires are expressed fully. So you gradually start from the innermost seat of individuality, ego, which has the latent or unexpressed desires. Then the desires are felt in the mental body through intellect. Then they are expressed partially through subtle body, and then completely experienced or expressed in the gross body. And till you have some residue in the latent unexpressed desires, ego persists. So
Yes,
to
if you imagine this with a master or those who are in the plains, so they have lost so much of desires expressed or desires unexpressed, and only part of the ego is remaining with them. And with that total loss, totally God realized. So that is the progress from top to bottom, or going inside deeper as per this diagram. That's how I understand this. Maybe correct or not.
You are correct. You are correct. I think you're correct. We will read further and confirm.
Yes, yes.
Give me 1 second. Sharing stopped. I'm sorry. I'm doing it.
But Baba is still there.
Okay. Yes, Baba is there in South Indian form.
Okay.
Today is South Indian Baba, huh? Yeah, it's a South Indian dhoti with a peta. I just spotlighted it for everyone to see.
That's from Singapore.
That's
Yes,
from
yes.
Singapore. Jai Baba, Jai Baba, Jai Baba. So I will now get back to the main screen. Okay. Let's go back to the text. When after reincarnations, the human soul launches upon the process of realization, intellect is replaced by inspiration, which finds its expression from the first to the third plane and from the fourth to the sixth plane. This inspiration is transformed to illumination. So we shall see that now. So ordinary humans, this is human being advanced through third plane and human being advanced through sixth plane. And here he sees, now let's go back and blow it up. Second, why is this not? Yeah. Now we go to this one.
Not that one.
So
Before
yeah, this one. This is the third plane, advanced through third plane.
Okay.
Advanced human.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we see subtle body desires expressed partially, mental body desires felt. Now is the first mention of inspiration. So from intellect, it comes to inspiration. The rest of it remains the same. Consciousness remains full. So from there, if you go to the next fourth planar, the fourth planar, it becomes illumination from intellect to illumination. The rest remains the same. Desires expressed fully, desires
Inspiration to
expressed
illuminate.
partially. Yeah, desires expressed partially, mental desires felt, and seat of individuality. So all the rest remains the same. Let's go back. The colored rings or concentric circles represent the soul of a God realized person. Ashok G to note. With all the vehicles at its disposal. In respect to this diagram, the following points should be carefully noted. The three outer rings respectively represent the gross, subtle, and the mental bodies. We find all these bodies also in ordinary human beings. Okay, so the first three ones are gross, subtle, and mental bodies. These
purple, blue, and green.
correct. What we are seeing here is the explanation for the 7 concentric circles, not only in chart 10, but also in chart 9. Just restating the obvious. So gross, subtle, and body. Gross, subtle, and mental, which is purple, blue, and green, as mentioned by Mamaji. Correct. We find all these. Okay. In the God realized person, there has emerged a new spiritual body known as the universal body or Mahakarana Sharira, which is the seat of the universal mind. Just as water is contained in a cup, the universal mind may be said to be contained in the universal body. So let's see universal body. That's deep purple or whatever color. I'm bad with remembering colors or identifying them. And the universal body is controlling the universal or covering the universal mind. Let's go back. Therefore, okay, which is the universal mind. Okay, therefore, though the universal body and the universal mind are represented by 2 different circles, they are inseparable from each other. The universal mind of the master, which works through his universal body, direct contact with the mental bodies of all the individual souls in creation, and it can, through these mental bodies, bring about any changes in the mental, subtle, or gross worlds. Though the master has a mental body like ordinary humans, he always works only through his universal mind. Okay, he has a mental body, but he works through his universal mind, and his universal mind can connect to all the souls' mental bodies in creation, all the human souls in mental body, the mental bodies of the souls in creation, all the individual souls in creation. Number 3. In the master's soul, the limited ego of the human stage is transmuted into the unlimited ego. That is, the feeling of separateness and narrow individuality is replaced by the realization of unlimited, indivisible, and all-comprehensive existence. Number 4, that is represented by a circle, unlimited divine ego, the red circle. The soul of the master is endowed with infinite consciousness. The full consciousness at the human stage does not reveal or express the infinity of the soul owing to the limitation of sanskaras. But in the God realized person, this full consciousness is not limited by any sanskaras, and therefore it reveals or expresses the infinity of the soul. So that is explained in the last circle, which is yellow, which is infinite consciousness. So gross body, subtle body, mental body, universal mind, unlimited divine ego, and infinite consciousness. Ashok ji, clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I think that is the God realized person. Let me pan out a little bit and see the whole diagram. So this is showing the journey from the, this basically brings the worlds in. So if you look at the difference between this diagram and this diagram, it tries to represent what is represented in these 3 things, the worlds, along with the progression of the soul journey. That's the way I would see it. I hope I'm making sense. Okay, so this is very interesting.
I think we have absorbed quite a bit of these diagrams, except those 4 lines towards the God.
Yes.
Yes.
4 lines. Yes, that's open. And I think I am still wrapping my head around some of the things here, right? So desires expressed partially, desires felt, unexpressed desires, and I have to wrap my head a little more on
No.
the.
I will give you an example. Say,
Please.
imagine yourself. You have, say, desires expressed very clearly. You know what you want, and you are able to achieve that. All those what is being done as an activity by each individual in his lifetime. But inside we have certain desires which we never express or unable to express or experience also. That is desires unexpressed. So deeper inside that, we may not be feeling those desires, but they are pent up because of our karma in the previous birth and all that. So that will come out only maybe in the next life or a few lives ahead of us, till we go through this reincarnation process. So like that, we can understand that. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's how I have tried to understand
When there
that.
is an environment for them to express themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, when there's a conducive
Okay,
environment.
and what is desires expressed partially, and
Partially,
why do you need the
maybe
subtle body for it?
maybe gradations of satisfaction that we get from certain desires,
Yeah,
and we
I
get
I get a desire.
partial
Yeah,
success,
yes.
but we still feel that I can do better, or I could have got better things like that. Maybe like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Desire
so
or lust
there I
for
have one
food.
question. So how is the subtle body involved with that? So if you see, the subtle body express the desires partially everywhere, right?
Yes. Yes.
So is that because to get full experience or expression of desires, you actually need a gross form or the gross body? Is that the reason? Or why is it saying partially? So
I
desires
don't know.
expressed partially, you are doing it
Ah,
through subtle body.
okay.
So anyway, that's
No,
as I said,
Yeah,
the
then we
desires
will
would
figures.
think
come
about
that
that.
I must have butter chicken today. That's a
Yeah.
partial expression of desire. But when I actually end up doing it, this is the full expression of desire. Or maybe ice cream
When you
example or wine, whatever. So
hmm,
desires would come, but if they're not put into action, they will slowly go away. That's what Baba has explained.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
And also, the other aspect is uh, we feel our subtle body, we feel our mental body. Is it true or not? But we may not be fully expressing that or fully aware of that. But in some, say, flashes of our the process of life, we feel the subtle body in us, we feel the mental body in us. Is it correct explanation? Is
Ye-
it true?
Yes, Mamaji. I think what you said is correct, and uh, the mind or the mental body and the exercise of intellect makes us uh, restrict our desires, or the desires are expressed partially also because of the play of the mental body. Is what I get it, because the intellect has gives us a choice whether to do or not to do. So I think that's
Yes.
the play of the intellect also, because
Yes,
that's what
we have
that's
all
what
this.
that's what
So
differentiates
you
a
said,
human being from the animals.
uh, you said that we restrict certain desires. We may
Yes, yes,
also express it more depending on our sanskaras. So
yes,
there are people who express their desires so, say, vividly, harshly, and then land in problems also. So it all depends on the sanskara of each individual soul. So if you say hide your desires or try to avoid your desires, then that is one way of your life path. If
you
you
can
try
restrict
to
or
go
express.
ahead and try to experience all the desires, that comes to your mind, that is another path for your life process. That's how we can look into that also.
Exactly. And so,
Yeah.
but the intellect makes you either express or restrict the desires.
Yes,
I think
if it is,
that
if I can add, if it is still instinct, you are landing in problem. If it is a bit of intellect, you are progressing. If it is inspiration, you have progressed further.
More. And if you're
Yes,
in illumination, you're
yes, yes,
better off.
yes.
Yeah.
yes, correct, correct. So it's
Great. So, any other thoughts from the others who are silent? 9 and 10. Any doubts? Yeah, I hear only Ashok ji and Mama ji and Sanjay ji. The others, I hope 9 and 10 are very, very clear to them.
Jai Baba.
If, yeah,
No, I mean, this is beyond state for my brain to comprehend. But there's that song, which Baba says, Likhan Padan se Nahar Bazi Sanam Kahar Dam Khayal Hona. As long as breath in, breath out is his name,
wonderful.
you will reach that stage.
Wonderful.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what
So,
Kama also says. I would like to go blinded.
yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's just continue the reading then. If there are no more questions and comments on 9 and 10, how much time do we have? We are almost out of time. So I will reread from a paragraph above, though the supplement references came within this paragraph. Yeah. The ability to exercise constant control over one's low desires is no mean achievement. Success in establishing a lasting sublimation of all desires is indeed a greater one. But the greatest is the burning away of all one's desires once and for all, which divine love alone can do. As there is never any show about divine love, this burning in love is always without smoke, that is, without show. There are times when an outward expression of God love may amount to heroism, but to make at any time a mere show of one's love for God for the sake of show amounts to an insult to God. That is why Kabir says that in the act of meditation, when one assumes an asana posture to meditate upon God, one should at that time learn to avoid making any display such as the swaying motion of one's body, even if it is only for one's own gratification. As compared with dreams, the physical life is indeed a reality. Similarly, compared with the reality of the path, the world and all worldly life is vacant dreaming on the part of man. But as the world and all of its experiences are illusory, so is the spiritual path that leads to reality, bigger reality. The former may be termed false illusion and the latter real illusion. Nevertheless, despite the vast difference between them, they are both illusions, for God alone is the only bigger reality. So both spiritual path and the worldly path are all experiences which are illusory and not to be taken to be true as bigger reality. I continue. When knowledge is gained, ignorance is banished. But for ignorance to go, knowledge must be gained. There is a there is a footnote. In the sense of wisdom, rather than of worldly knowledge. Okay, knowledge in the sense, when knowledge is used with a big K, he is referring to wisdom rather than of worldly knowledge. Just so that we are clear. In Sanskrit, I think it becomes clear. Jnana, right? When knowledge is gained, ignorance is banished, but for ignorance to go, knowledge must be gained. On the one hand, God and the capacity of man to see and become one with God are always there. On the other hand, truth remains hidden from man until he actually arrives upon the path or realizes God. This apparent anomaly is due to two different factors: man's ignorance of truth and the fact that truth is beyond the faculty of reason and far, far above the sphere of intellect. The fact remains that man has become God, and man can become God for the simple reason that knowingly or unknowingly, man is God. Only so long as man's ignorance lasts will there seem to be no end to the plural diversity of illusory things. When divine knowledge is gained, he realizes that there is no limit to the indivisible oneness of God. Under the illusion of cosmic duality, the apparent separation between man and God is invariably referred to by masters in terms of the intervenient veil and curtain. Hafiz, who was a perfect master as well as a great poet, says, Miyana Ashik o Mashuk, Hik Hayal Nist, Tu Kud Hijabi e Kudi Hafiz Az Miyam Barkis. There is no barrier between the lover and the beloved. Hafiz, lift yourself aside. You are yourself the covering over the biggest self. Kabir, referring to the removal of the seven folds of the veil, says, Tere guk, tere guk
Ghungat,
gata ke
ghungat,
pata.
ghungat. It is ghungat.
Oh, तेरे घूंघट के पता पत पत
Pat, pat.
खोल
Let
तुझे
me read.
हाँ पत पत
Let
या तेरे
तेरे
घूंघट
घूंघट
के
के
पट खोल
पट खोल, तेरे घूंघट के पट खोल, तुझे राम मिलेंगे.
Ah,
हाँ
The
wonderful.
ghungat is the wheel that the ladies, you must have seen in northern India, they wear that
Yes.
wheel on them.
Mm.
so
So
in the
it's
above
explained.
his stands also, lift yourself aside, where the self is the smallest self. You
Yes,
are come down slightly. You are yourself the covering over the biggest self. So that's how we have to understand that, I think. So when we
yes,
leave the self in us, that is the actual everyday self in us, we will see the over self or the biggest self.
absolutely. I will just read this last paragraph explaining the Kabir line. The ghunghat literally means the covering that a woman extends over her head and face in a number of folds. In spiritual parlance, it represents the heavy folds of ignorance that keep man hidden from his real identity. The lifting of it, fold by fold, corresponds to the stage by stage journey of a pilgrim from the first through the fifth plane of the divine path.
Gongat has folds, and there is a meaning for
Yes,
it. Okay.
yes. Okay, so I think we will stop here and pick it
I
up
think the last
from.
para that we read, about half a page,
Hmm,
was a good summary.
Yes.
of everything
Last
else.
page,
Yeah.
half page, and up to this Kabir's message.
Yes.
Yes.
The previous page, correct. Perfect.
So shed all the outer rings to reach the central core.
Yes.
So link it with the diagram also.
Yeah, there's a very
Indeed.
popular song also, no? घूंघट के पट खोल तुझे पिया मिलेंगे. A very popular bhajan actually. I think Lata ji has sung
Yes,
this.
yes, yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
घूंघट के पट खोल. Wonderful. Any other points before we stop recording? Any
Yeah.
questions?
It was
Uh,
wholesome reading, made lot of say clarity on the diagrams, which most of us have seen so many times, and each time we
Yes.
grasp something really more important than what we had grasped earlier. Thank Baba. Today Baba was with us
yes.
in his form as well as knowledge.
Absolutely.
Karthik, I've been reading GSN Murthy's book, Wonders of Silence.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And when I read this, I always recall Kama. He's also in that kind of uh, person. That Dr. GSN Murthy was a Gita Bhushan. He would recite Gita almost
Yes,
by heart
yes.
and every day. And if you have heard about him, the book is
Correct. He
quite
was a
wonderful
Vedic
actually and worth reading if
wonderful.
you
Okay.
guys can pick up. It's an amazing that he comes from that Vedantic background, that he has hundreds and thousands of books in his home. His father is also of that kind. He does this
Hmm.
Gita chapters are there where they promote Gita thinking, and he's a devotee of Lord Krishna. He comes from that knowledge background, the Gyan uh, path of Vedanta. And then he comes in contact with Baba. And there are so many beautiful stories that how does he falls in love, and Baba, how does Baba keeps pinching his ego. Baba
Yeah.
sends him for spreading his name. He's a very good speaker. I
Yes.
relate to him more because he used I have met him so many times, and he came
Oh,
and
okay.
stayed with us in our Hamirpur home also. Few days he was there.
Okay.
I have
Can
his
you send
videos
some
also.
link?
Link, I don't think it is there, but where it is available, let me check on the internet if you can buy. I
Okay,
have a
okay.
hard copy. He gave our parents his own autographed copy of the book. That's what I am reading. Yeah, I read it long
What
back, but I'm
did
reading it
Baba give him
fresh.
the title? Yeah, did Baba give him the title that I mean, he said something to the effect that
Yeah,
he will do spread my word
right, right.
in.
He was called the talkative disciple of a silent master.
Ah, ah.
So
Okay.
Baba had
No,
given him
yeah, yeah,
work
yeah,
that you go and
something
spread
like that.
my message.
My word,
And
yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then
Yeah.
there are so beautiful stories. Then he does a excellent job, and he comes back to Guru Prasad, and Baba tells him, uh, you know, give me a sample speech that you keep giving to others. And then he closes his eyes and starts. Somebody pinches him from this side, somebody pinches him from the other side. That's what Baba was asking them, everybody to pinch him, that he was not able to speak.
Okay.
So, so it's worth reading actually. I mean, I have just completed maybe one third of it. Amazing. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like Ami
So,
Hazra's book, Memoirs of a Zetetic.
zetetic, yeah,
If anybody has read, that's also a similarly amazing book.
very
How does
nice.
he questions Baba and how does he falls in love with him finally?
Correct.
That's the
So
first book
on
I
the
read.
chat,
Memoirs of
okay,
Zetetic was the first book that I read about Baba,
okay,
which
okay,
moved me into him. Yesterday was his
wonderful.
son's birthday. Amir Hazra is his son,
Hmm.
who is not into
Okay.
music. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
Baba.
Vijay ji, your video is unlocked by mistake. So Nomita ji has sent the video of the song that was referred by Sanjay ji. So I think with that, let's wrap up for today and look forward to seeing you all in the coming week. Mama ji, if you can stay on for a minute or two,